Good morning, crafty friends. So today we are going to continue with our tutorial. This one is for an easel card. And what you're going to need is two 8.5 by 11 pieces of cardstock and one of the sheets from your 6 by 6 paper pad. And if you have any scraps left over from the last one or whatever, you can use those, which is what I'm probably going to do today, to make your easel card. So what I started off, well, let's start off with the very beginning. Let's just do that. So with our 8.5 by 11 cardstock, you are going to score at 5. This is on your first piece. And then you're going to turn it. And you're going to score it at 10. And then you're going to cut it. So we're going to get out our cutter. Okay. Then once you cut that, you're going to take your, you're going to put it back on your scoreboard, or you could score it at the same time. You're going to score it at the 5 and then at 7.5. So 5 and 7.5. And I'm going to score it, I'm going to flip it over and score on the same spot on the other side because I'm using a really heavyweight cardstock. And then you're going to fold your first one over, okay? And then you can take your second one and then fold it in like that. And then this is where your card is going to stand up this way. So I'm going to put that to the side. I'm going to get my second piece of cardstock and I'm going to score it 5 by 5. And then I'm going to cut it. Now, you can back this up with chipboard if you want to. I'm not going to because, you know, I want to mail this. So I really don't want it to be super heavy. Okay. Okay. Now you can put your scoreboard up and your cutting board. Now, we are going to attach this. We're going to put our score tape right on the bottom right here. So it's going to lay flat like that, okay? So you're just going to line it up. Let me go ahead and put my score tape on here. Oops. The moon must be in the wrong alignment again because I'm acting crazy. Okay. And I'm only going to put the score tape up to that first, or the, well, shall I say the second one. So just right up to here. Okay. I'm going to use several little strips here. Just because I want to make sure it's on there securely. And you can cut off any of the excess. Or you can just roll it back onto the paper, either way. You're going to take your bone folder, which mine just fell. Yay. Okay. And you're going to burnish it in. And then you'll start peeling it off. and I have one hanging over the edge, so I'm going to push it back onto the paper, and then I'm going to get my card and I'm going to line it up perfectly on here, right up to the edge. Okay, so now it's going to look something like this. Okay. Okay, so then you're going to get your 6x6 paper sheet that you decide to use. And I decided to use this one. And I cut this at 4 7/8 by 4 7/8. And then I used my Tim Holtz distressor, or you can leave it plain. That is up to you. Okay, and then you're going to center it on here. Now, if you want to go ahead and use some distress ink, you could do that now, because otherwise it'll get on the white part. I'm not going to do that. I kind of like how it is. So I'm going to put my score tape on the back. I'm going to burnish in my edges. Okay, and then we're going to take another piece that's going to be on the bottom of your card. Okay, right here. So I'm going to leave that one. I'm going to make it 5 by 5. I'm going to decide on what pattern I want here. Let me see. I like the butterflies, but it might be a little bit too busy. I think I like this striped one. Oh, I like this one too. But I think I'm going to use this one. Okay. So I'm going to cut that one at 5 by 5. Let me move some of this out of the way. I've been meaning not to do this because every time I do, I mess up. So I'm going to make sure you have this on this end, because you don't want that on your paper. And I'm going to hold this down and then do it again at the 5. Okay, don't throw this away. Keep it to the side. You never know. You might want to use this piece on the back. That is completely up to you. Okay, so for this one, let me see. Do I want to distress the sides? Let me see. I think I'm going to, just to keep up with my little shabby chic theme I've got going on here. I'm actually going to do it off the screen because I get these little shreds all over my desk and then it looks crazy messy. It's beautifully sunny today, but it is like 30 degrees, so it is quite chilly here this morning. Although I know some of you up north are like, 30 degrees, please, we want 30 degrees. But for us Texans, that's chilly. Okay, so let me do that one more time. Okay. So one thing I want to suggest is that on your back piece, when you have a lot going on, you pretty much want to pick the closest solid pattern or something that has a light pattern on the back. You don't want it to look too crazy. This bottom one, that's okay. But when you have other stuff going on top of it, you want to keep it fluid and flowing nicely for the eye. because if there's too much going on, they're going to be distracted and all they're going to see is the background instead of actually what you're doing on the front. So that's just kind of like one of my suggestions. Okay, so instead of doing it on paper, I'm going to do it on the back of my card. I'm going to do that on the back of this one too. Burnishing your edges. Throw my trash. Okay, so now I'm going to lay the card flat. And let me think about kind of like, nope, I like this one on the bottom, the lighter colors. And I'm going to center it. And then burnish it in. Okay. And then I'm going to do the same with the top. And this one, since I made it smaller, I'm going to have to center this one. And if you have any like pieces hanging off, kind of just gently get them off there. Okay. But before I do this, I'm going to make sure this is straight. Okay. And then I'm going to put my, and I'm going to stand up for this so I can make sure. Actually, I'm going to lay this flat like this again so I can really see what I'm doing here. Center and then burnish in your edges. Okay, now I am going to use some of the die cuts from the extended kit. And if you got that extended kit, you will have these cute little babies right here. I have an umbrella. Okay. And actually these came off really nice and quickly and easily, so I really like that. You will get a cloud. You will get a little watering can. And then you will get the word spring. And then the rest of the piece to the umbrella so that you can use different colors. And you will get some raindrops, which actually there are 3 raindrops. So I'm going to have to find out what happened to that. And then you will get a little heart, okay? So, and you actually get another piece of this, and I guess it fell out of the bag, so I'm going to have to now search for it. Yay! Okay, so, oh yeah, here's my 3rd raindrop. It's in my hand. Duh. Okay, so I just basically use my Big Kick to cut out different ones from the pattern paper, and I use solid paper. So here are my clouds. Okay, so I did 2 clouds. I did the umbrella. Okay, and then I did this little umbrella stick. Instead of doing it in black, I did it in a gray piece here. And then I use the same little yellow polka dot to do my little handle. Okay. And then the raindrops I did, as you can see up here, the different colors. And then I also cut out the word spring. Now, I'm not sure I'm going to use all of these just yet, but I do know I want to use the clouds and the umbrella and the raindrops. I just haven't decided on whether or not I'm going to use spring. Now, at this point, you can either distress these, okay, and I'm probably going to distress them up with ink on the edges, but I'm not going to, you know, cut the little edges. I don't know. Let me see here. Let me just practice with one that I have a little missing piece here and see if I really like that. It's just kind of a matter of taste. Yeah, I'm not liking that. Not on the clouds, okay? I definitely would stick with the same thing, but I'm going to take some glue and I'm going to go ahead and attach my little piece to my umbrella. So I'm going to move this out of the way because I don't want it to get glue on my card. Use this extra piece of white paper here. And you only need like a tiny, tiny drop. So I'm actually going to use part of this extra on the handle. Oops. My hands are just crazy this morning. Okay. Let's get it. Okay. So I'm going to center it. Now I'm going to leave it to dry. I'm not even going to flip it over to see it because I really want it to dry first before I use it. And then my clouds. This is where you kind of want to go, okay, so how am I going to design this card? I know that I want it to stand up, so I'm going to need some strips of paper that are coordinating or solid color that coordinate to keep it up, okay? So that it's standing up for people to see. And then you want to decide approximately where you want it. And I'm thinking that's about right because I want it to stand up pretty good. So I'm going to decide what I want to use to keep it still. And let me go through my 6x6 pad again and see what I think coordinates with this. I've got a lot going on with the stripes, so like I said, you have to be real careful of what you use. This might be cute. This kind of like, looks like a picket type fence to me. That would work. And, or you could maybe do the flowers, but that is kind of noisy, as I call it. Let me go ahead and cut a strip that is 5x5. Well, not 5x5, excuse me. I'm going to do it about, let me see. Let me try 2 inches. Two inches by 5 inches. And then I'm going to go ahead and distress the edges with my Tim Holtz thing. Again, sorry, I'm going to do it off camera so I don't get it all over my desk. And this one I'm going to distress pretty good because literally I want it to stand up on this. So it should look something like this. Okay. Let me see here. Kind of like that. Yeah. I think that's looking real cute. Okay, so you can also use another piece of chipboard, or you can back it up with another strip of heavy cardstock just to make sure that it stands up, and that's what I'm going to do. And this one I'm not going to distress. It doesn't, well, I need to go down just a little bit. Sorry, we're going to make it just a little bit shorter. So it would be like 1 7/8, sorry. Just because I don't want it to show through. And I'm going to get my score tape. And make sure any hanging over tape strings are folded back onto the paper, and then attach it. And I kind of went over a little bit there. There we go. Okay, so it's going to look something like this. Oops. I tell you what, I'm like uber clumsy this morning. Okay. So now I'm going to put my score tape back over here real quick and clean up my little area. And actually, I do need to put the score tape on the back here. Varnishing my edges and start peeling it off. And then I'm going to attach it to my paper, being sure to cover that up. So now it's going to look something like this. I think it's looking super cute. There we go. I would probably even back it up again, although it's too late for me to do that now. But yeah, I would definitely, back it up with a couple pieces of cardstock or heavy chipboard or something like that, just to make sure. Now we kind of want to design, we want to think about, well, what are we trying to say here? I'm going to get out my 12 by 12 stickers, because you can do the same thing with the stickers. As a matter of fact, if you don't have the extended kit, there is an umbrella on here, there's a cloud on here, there's a tree, there's flowers, there's a hot air balloon, there's all sorts of cute little things on here. And I'm really loving this thing that says, spring showers bring May flowers. So I'm going to think about exactly what I wanted to say. And what I usually do is I just start playing around. I just kind of, you know, grab all my little stuff that I have and um, decide, where everything is going to be positioned on my card. It's pretty easy to do. You can even have the one of the clouds go up higher than the other because it's blue on the back, so it doesn't really matter whether or not they see that. But if you're doing it, putting it in a 5x5 envelope, then you're going to want to stay pretty much within the edges. But for me, I'm going to use a 6x6 envelope so that I can have some of this, standing up off the page. Another thing that you can use are pop dots, which give it definition and depth to your project. So, oops. Let me figure out what I'm going to do, and then I will be back.